ETH is going head-to-head with Solana, and of course, ETHDenver had a lot of news. We're going to break it down for you. My name is Paul Byron. Welcome back into Tech Path. Let's go into our sponsor today, and that's iTrust Capital. This is a great place to start your crypto IRA. And the cool thing that you can do now with iTrust, they actually have custody accounts where you can go in, buy crypto, and not put it in our IRA, actually start to trade within the app of iTrust Capital. So check it out and use our link down below. It's going to give you a $100 funding reward. Let's go over to a couple of the headlines here. Solana and Base are clashing again after playing nice for a little bit. And of course, most of this was because of what happened in ETHDenver. I want to go to this first clip. It'll explain a little bit more. Take a look.
So today, Ethereum L1 block production time is 12 seconds. On Base, our block production time is 2 seconds. And, that's pretty good. So I'm excited to announce today that in collaboration with Flashbots, Base is going live with flash blocks for 200 millisecond effective block times.
Wow.
That's 10 times faster than the experience today. So a payment going through in 200 milliseconds is a lot snappier user experience than 2 seconds. Certainly gaming is a compelling use case for faster effective block times as well.
All right, so gaming, and I think also payments to a certain extent, you're going to be looking at speeds. Again, remember, this is still just the beginning, but Coinbase-backed Base unveils their upgrades aiming for Solana's double speed. And I think when you look at some of the things within this, Base is 10 times faster, potentially establishing it as the most efficient EVM out there. So lots of news out there. Jesse Pollack talked about this, and he simply said, hey, we think this is now pure and simple, twice as fast as Solana. And Solana has had the edge on almost all the chains out there in terms of speed and processing time. So this really does make a pretty big dent going forward. If you look at Build on Base, the Twitter account, and you can kind of see when he presses this blue button right there, when he's going there, you'll see the transaction turning red, and then it just resolves immediately. That's how fast this is going through. So that's pretty significant, and it shows, I think, a huge advancement going forward here on the Ethereum blockchain. Another thing I want to get into is Ethereum's Base L3s that are incoming. Take a look.
So I am excited to announce today that in collaboration with CDP, we're going live with Base App Chains, which is a layer 3 chain launcher for builders that have reached that scale that's necessary for it. As your app reaches a certain scale, an app chain might be right for you. Other types of customization, like a custom gas token or permissioned allow lists for the types of contracts that can make calls. Verticals that this makes a lot of sense for is definitely gaming. DPIN is a big one.
That sounds like a really incredible new set of capabilities, and certainly less frustrating for those teams that are dropping 6 figures on gas subsidies.
That's crazy. So people are dropping over $100,000 just on gas subsidies. This is going to be able to be one of the saving graces for that. Also, they announced sub-wallet accounts. This is another thing for security that I think is going to be a big benefit. And Base did a lot at ETHDenver. I think I was not expecting this much news coming out, but take a look at this clip.
I'm excited to announce that Smart Wallets is going live with sub-accounts. Pop-up free transactions for your users, simplified user experience, and an app account, or maybe an agent account. Really all kinds of accounts that will have the ability to be owned by a universal account. They can have spend limits set back to the universal account and really get the best of both worlds, from this Smart Wallet vision to the embedded sub-accounts themselves.
This also sounds like it is a potential service to improve security.
Big time, very much on security. The other thing you got to look at is transactions right now. Revenue in terms of Base. If you kind of zoom in on this last one, they're earning at around 282,000 right now on revenue in comparison. This is cumulative. And you compare this to what's going on over on Solana, which has been declining over the last little bit since the beginning of 2025 at about 538,000. So they are catching up quickly and starting to move, I think, in a very interesting place for the future of where not only Ethereum is going, but a lot of these L2s that are really going to start to expand. If you look at Flashbots T architecture, this is kind of breaking it down because this is where it's mostly going to be benefited. This, of course, is going to be Unichain. So think about Uniswap and what they've been able to do pretty quickly. Other advancements that are happening with Uniswap is turning your crypto into cash. Now, I want to play this video. I'm going to keep it muted here, but I want to just watch what they're talking about. What this can do is do what we've been trying to do for a long time, and that is getting to a true fiat off-ramp. And the idea here is very simple. You're going to be able to do the swap, be able to transfer via MoonPay Robinhood right into your bank. Now, it's not going into Robinhood or into MoonPay. It's like a bridge in essence. This will be a pretty big deal, I think, for a lot of new people, but in general, I think for crypto, because it will benefit people who are trying to go to cash. So another big advantage right there. If you look at just active traders on Uniswap, on Unichain, all trending up here. So could be a buy right now. If you look at Uniswap, where it's currently trading in the market, I'm watching this one pretty closely. And of course, you got to look at Unichain and their growth in a very short period of time. Not bad, considering the market as we've seen so far. So a lot of good news coming out. So some of the base upgrades enabled platforms like this, projects like this. This is called Flynet. This is part of Blackbird. We've talked about them before. Let's go to a clip. It'll give you a little bit more explanation. Take a look.
Arguably, Blackbird is one of the only consumer platforms applications that has product market fit in crypto, if you ask me.
Today, the average restaurant's profit margin is under 5%. Services like the reservations companies, for sure, and some of the POS companies operate, they're selling the customer back to the restaurant over and over and over again.
Okay.
And so if you go back to that point about how thin the margins are, that starts to feel pretty untenable.
What's the big announcement? What happened today?
So the big announcement is that we've launched Flynet, which is our own transaction network that's on chain. It's an L3 on top of Base, and it's live as of today. And then sometime next week, there will be a season 1 airdrop of F2. The restaurants will be co-owners with us of this network. 7 seasons by which we airdrop it to network participants,
Okay.
restaurants, consumers, and restaurant workers. Today is day 0, but the mainnet is live. Everything that's happening on Blackbird is now on chain. Next week is the first airdrop, and it only gets more interesting from there.
Great. Up only.
So that's Ben Leventhal. He's been at this for quite some time. This is a former Eater guy. If you know anything about the restaurant space, Eater's probably one of the biggest blogs out there ever. And they've seen kind of the trenches of where restaurants are going, and he is exactly right. Some of the fees, some of the largest fees are through these merchant services, point of sale companies that do kind of sell that cycle back to the restaurants. So this will be a big win. One thing about gift cards in general is this is a massive industry because it spans across so many things: retail, restaurant, hospitality, et cetera. So it's multi-trillions in terms of revenue. Opportunity here, again, starts to expose Base even further. I want to go to another clip here. Then this is David Schwartz talking about finance rails being needed first. Take a look.
Believe it or not, a major driver for enterprise adoption for tokenized real-world assets is that the transaction fees are smaller. If you're holding $5 million in tokenized treasuries, the amount of margin that the issuer is making is microscopic. Your yield is microscopic, the margins are microscopic. So we're going to bring enterprises in for dumb reasons. Like, it saves them money, it's more transparent. If we want to take over finance, we need the really boring, I need a checking account, I need a savings account, I need a retirement account. A lot of them will be here just because it's cheaper and faster and it works on weekends and it has these tiny little advantages that are better is better, right? You don't have to believe me that it's going to change the world. It's enough for you that it's better.
So that, of course, David Schwartz coming in from Ripple. And I think his point is the rails, the infrastructure that still needs to take place. We are right, I believe, at the cusp, and I think a lot of devs are starting to see the light here. And also, I think we're seeing traditional finance, major companies, major industries starting to bridge this gap into blockchain. It is coming for sure. One thing that is coming also is Trump filing trademarks on potentially a Trump metaverse. Now, there's a few things that he kind of hits on, but he's looking at, and it was interesting, said the Trump family is looking to develop a Trump-branded metaverse. This is, of course, to a recent trademark filing. And when you look at the Trump term, and it's used in the U.S. Patent Office, a couple of points that they get into, which is kind of interesting. They talk about virtual reality games and headsets in this, all this around the Trump, brand itself. Further into this, they get into virtual restaurant services, nature of simulator restaurant services. So you can kind of see the future here, especially if we start to see some real action on whether it is VR, AR, and the integration of a lot of retail services. Restaurant, of course, will be one of the key ones. And of course, he's a hospitality guy, so he understands that, restaurants, hotels, etc. and it definitely flows in with their plan overall. All right, let's take a look at L2B. This is just going into the transaction processes here. And if you look at the TPS here, you can kind of see Base is still the king right here. And one that seems to be growing right here is Soneium. We've talked about them before. If you look at where Soneium is going, pretty much up only. So this is another one to watch. Again, these are the kind of layer 2s that I think will make a big difference in this next push forward on Ethereum. All right, so I want to go to this clip right here. This is Brian Donalds. You guys have seen him on, we've done clips of him before, and he's announcing his bid for Florida governor. And this is a good thing because he's very pro-crypto. Listen to what he had to say.
I'm here to announce my candidacy to be the next governor of the great state of Florida.
What are the issues you see that you would want to maybe take to another level?
So a couple of things. First, we have an insurance problem in our state. You know, my career in banking, insurance, and in financial services, we got to solve it. We got to stabilize those costs. I want to turn Florida into the financial hub of the world. Digital assets has made a home in South Florida for businesses to incorporate in our state, but then also for the state to take the lead on cryptocurrency and digital assets. I would even consider having crypto be a part of the state's financial portfolio.
One thing that he mentioned in that clip there is he's talking about insurance. Insurance, if you guys don't know, it's a ridiculously hard problem to solve here in the Sunshine State. And one of the biggest ones is home insurance. Even though we've seen health insurance also being a big factor, this is where blockchain could become more of a community-based insurance pool. And this would be a huge step forward for not only this state, but it also could pave the way for a lot of the next generation of how insurance might work. So he might be onto something. I think he is yet to see the full benefit of where blockchain can go, so we're going to be watching that one close. Now, thinking of where our current government and governor has been, you got to look back at Ron Desantis. Now, many people thought he was kind of pro-crypto. He actually developed a blockchain task force, but it was in 2019, and unfortunately, nothing happened. So this was, again, another, in this particular case, another politician just utilizing crypto as a talking point, a stump point, and he didn't do anything. Last point I want to make here on the politics of Florida is that it looks like Donalds would be going up against Casey. This is the Desantis wife. And this is not a good, this to me is not a win for the state of Florida. I hope that maybe there's some alternatives here, but right now I'm not necessarily on camp with that. So I think right now Casey's going to have her hands full, I think, with Byron to win the next phase. All right, so I want to jump over to Wyoming. This is another state that, of course, is doing some big things. And we've had Anthony Apollo on before. This is the guy that leads the commission on the stablecoin development there inside Wyoming. Now, some things have been going on within that. We just had him on our show not too long ago. Go back and watch the episode. You can kind of learn about what they're doing. It's a stablecoin potential for the state. And the reason this is important, and even though it's, Wyoming, not a big state, but the fact that they're doing this could pave the way into places like Florida, Texas, where this could absolutely explode. Now, some of the projects and blockchains that are being looked at is Avalanche, Sui, several others. Those are the two that are kind of leading, even blockchain.com. But you look at some of the things they added to the list in terms of requirements. Mobile application digital wallet. This was added right here. Ava Labs meets that recommendation or that requirement. And this was a new one as well. And we actually brought this up to Anthony Apollo. We showed him the KET community. And just to give him an understanding of how powerful a community within blockchain can be. The other thing you're going to see coming in, I think, from Avalanche is, of course, what we've seen here with CardPay. And of course, we talked about the Avalanche credit card coming live. I know you might be on the list right now to try to get it. This is actually happening. I want to go to a clip and just show you how fast this thing is. Take a look.
Just got the limited edition Avax Visa card. Check this out, come here. When you tap it, you see it lighting up? Guys, this is super cool. It just preloaded a wallet for me, so I can load this wallet with Avax, USDC, and other assets, and then I can go to the store or whatever and spend.
All right, so other things you have to look at is speed, and that being a gift card, but speed, this is actually a credit card that's working. And I know everybody's on the wait list for this now, and I'm hoping that this doesn't end up like the Robinhood credit card, which nobody ever gets, but actually gets listed and delivered to customers and people that want to get on this. So if it does happen, then this will be a big win for Avalanche. It's also another requirement, I think, for the state. Other things that Avalanche are doing, the state of Wyoming, other things that Avalanche are doing, of course, is another game is now coming to consoles out there. This is Haunted Space. That's another one that could be, remember, off the grid, getting ready to go live pretty much everywhere, and potentially having NFTs available over on OpenSea. A lot happening over there on the Avalanche chain. All right, so many of you guys might be looking to say, all right, well, maybe what is my play in the market right now, especially when it's so far down? Could I possibly do a swap for a token that maybe isn't moving and I want to put it into utility? Well, some of the utility that we've shown you today, when you look at what's happening within ETH, I think I would lead with ETH. I'd start to move Solana down the list. And then, of course, Cardano, we'll put it at the bottom. Avalanche needs to move up. Sui needs to move up, maybe even near moving up. But the point is, shuffle these around a little bit. There's some opportunities for you guys going forward. If you take a look at the market right now, I was looking at Uniswap right here. This would be a 5x where Uniswap is trading right now to the top. That's a great advantage for the ETH ecosystem. And even if you look at where Ethereum is trading right now, holding this line at around 2,200, this may be a good buy for it. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Give me some of your feedback. I always love to get insights from you guys. And if you're not in the Diamond Circle, get in on that. It's a great place to get additional content. Join our Telegram group. There is a link down there. You can actually chat with me individually. I'm in there every day. Just use the link down below and follow me out there on X @PaulBaron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.